Sims here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back here for another Real Sims build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this country family home. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up on the gallery now. My origin ID is Real Thomas TV1, and there will also be a link in the description like normal to the online gallery if you want to go ahead and download the build that way. So like I said, this is a country family home Real Sims build. I sometimes kind of struggle when it actually comes to deciding on a name for the actual build. Like I know it's a Real Sims build, but the actual name of them, because sometimes the themes overlap a little bit. So this home has 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and it's built on a 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek. And I know a 40 by 30 lot is kind of quite big for a house of this size. You will see here that we are starting off on a 30 by 20, but I'll explain that in a second. And it came in at 109,563 simoleons, which isn't too bad. And also what's not too bad about this build is that I didn't go too crazy on the packs. So for the expansions, I used Seasons, Cats and Dogs, City Living and Get Together. And then for the game packs, I just used Parenthood, and that's it. So not too many packs here today, which is great. I did do a base game build last week, so you would have seen that as a collab. So it's nice to do some restricted pack builds. But, you know, saying that, I do try to make all my builds restricted pack these days, because I know it's a lot helpful for people. So I know this is the only video that's went up this week, and I'm really sorry about that, and I'll explain why in just a second. But as I was just saying about the lot size, so this is a Real Sims build, as I said before, and when it comes to doing these builds, I find a house plan or floor plan or something online and then recreate it in The Sims 4, and I try to make it like tile for tile accurate so it matches the floor plan as best as I possibly can. So to begin with, it kind of started off with a 30 by 20 being an alright size. It kind of got the whole house in, but I then realised that one of the photos actually had quite a big backyard area with a pool and a sitting area, so it meant that I couldn't really do that, so I did move it to a 40 by 30. It did mean that there was a little bit more grass space around the lot, but I don't really think it looks too bad, because on the actual picture it did have quite a bit of like landscaping and just plain grass actually in general around the build, so I suppose that kind of fits in with that. And talking about the build, I will try to remember to leave a link down below to it, so you can kind of see it and compare it to how I did. I do sometimes forget to do that, and sometimes it's hard to go back and find it and actually find where it was, so I will try to do that, but you know, we'll just have to see. Anyway, so like I was just saying before, this is the only video that's went up this week. I do sometimes miss videos, you know, here and then, but I never really do it this kind of, you know, bad, where I go this long without making a video. I know it's only been a week, but I do 3, so to do no videos for that week is kind of weird. But anyway, so as most of you know, I am working full time over this month, so it means that trying to do that and then on top of doing, you know, 3 videos a week, it has been very difficult. So that's the reason why I haven't been able to get any videos up. And it's not like I'm doing 9 to 5, I'm actually doing 6 AM till 2 PM, so it's 9 to 5 but just earlier in the day. So I know that kind of sounds like, oh, I'll be home, you know, 2 PM and then have the rest of the day to record. Well, the thing is that I do have a little bit of travel. I'm trying to think how long, probably like maybe 20 minutes or so. Yeah, probably 20-25 minutes travel, and then, you know, coming back later in the day, there's a lot more traffic than there is that early in the morning. So, you know, it does kind of play into that a little bit, so that time's then, you know, broken down a little bit more. And also, you know, a 6 AM start means that I have to be up at 4:40 every morning, which has been horrible, but actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's still pretty bad getting up that early, because you just want to have a little bit of lie-in, but you really can't. And yeah, so, you know, it's been hard with that, getting up so early, because when I come in, I'm just so exhausted, and then I'm in bed for like 8:30 for the next day. So when you kind of put all those factors into play, it has made it a little bit difficult to record, so that's why you're only seeing this today. And I know that on Sundays, I do normally do mansion builds, but again, that was just basically impossible to do that this week. But I was saying that I should be working for the full month, but it actually turns out that I could be finished these horrible hours a little bit before Christmas. I think maybe it's a week earlier than what I thought it was. So that's great. So this next week coming up could be my last week of working these hours, which would be great. So if that is the case, then, you know, videos should be back to normal before then, and then it'll be Christmas, which I'm really looking forward to. So I have got some build ideas in mind that are Christmas themed. I know I haven't done any yet, but I do have 1 or 2 ideas what I could do for that, so hopefully I'll get around to that if I have time. So anyway, like I said, this is another Real Sims build, and when I first started doing these, I did say I wasn't going to do them that often, but actually everybody seems to really enjoy these builds that I've seen from the last couple of times I've done this series, so I thought, you know, it'd be a good idea to do one today since you all seem to like it, and I'm actually really happy how this build turned out as well. Now, just a kind of few little disclaimers, I didn't end up actually doing this house exactly exactly to how it was. It is pretty much the same in terms of the exterior and also kind of just how the floor plan is kind of laid out on the ground floor, but it's where it comes to the upstairs bit, which you'll kind of see, it looks like the dormer from the thumbnail. That is actually like an upstairs area. Now, you know, if you look from that thumbnail picture of how small that space is upstairs, in The Sims you would just make that a dormer. It isn't really that accessible, but what actually happens is that in this particular floor plan, the kind of rooms run into the roof, if that makes sense, and there's not really anywhere to put a window, so it kind of made it a little bit difficult to do that. I don't really know if I'm explaining myself too well there, but hopefully you understand. So it means that the upstairs area of this home isn't exactly how it is on the floor plan. Kind of like the centre bit is where you see the window on the roof, and kind of that area is, and running through to the back of the same area, but kind of going out to the sides, it is not there. So, you know, just to let you know, but it was just a little bit difficult to do that. But, you know, I'm going to not be too hard on myself, because I did say when I started the series that I did just want to do it to try and just do things a little bit different in terms of how I do a build, because I think we'll all have, builders have a very kind of specific way of building a home. So this series kind of just let me do things a little bit different, because I don't normally kind of follow a floor plan, and I don't normally kind of focus on the floor plan. It's like one of the first things I do in a build. But, you know, with these builds here, with this series, getting the floor plan right is a big part of it. When in a normal speed build that I do, it's kind of another thought after I've done the main exterior. So it's kind of just a different way of thinking about builds, and that's why I wanted to do this series. So I'm not going to be too hard on myself for that reason. So as I was saying before, this is on a 40 by 30 lot, but there is only 2 bedrooms. If I did end up doing the full upstairs area how it was supposed to be, then it would have 3 or 4 bedrooms, but I couldn't really do that, so there is just 1 upstairs. So there is a neutral master room downstairs, and then there is a kind of, I would say maybe a boy kids room upstairs, but it's not that specific for any type of sim. It's more of a neutral kids room, I would say. Actually, it just has blue walls, so that can maybe give you some inspiration for what type of family would live here. So it's not too specific. And also the floor plan pictures didn't really have anything in terms of like interior, because some of the floor plan pictures have actual like interior furnishing renders as well, but there wasn't really any of that with this home. So it kind of just had some general layouts of kind of, you know, where the stove will go, where the fireplace will go, that sort of thing. So I was kind of just left to do my own type of thing that I wanted to do for the interior, which isn't too bad. It kind of made it a little bit easier than being, you know, really strict on myself following the floor plan. So there is also, in terms of other things in this home, there is a pool in the backyard area along with some lounges, and also it has a outdoor seating area and barbecue. And I think I did also go ahead and put a few kind of planter boxes and the bee box and the plant arrangement table, well, the flower arrangement table I should say, from Seasons. And then there is a garage where I've got one of the debug cars in, just as something to make it feel like more like a garage. And also there is the garage door on the front of this build and a driveway, but because of how much space there is there in the train kind of manipulation, it wasn't really letting me put a debug car there. I don't know if I got that on screen later, but it was kind of just floating in the air, so I just went ahead and parked one in the garage. So I did also go ahead and put like a fish tank in the garage, which I know is really random, but I kind of made the garage more like an actual usable space. So I thought having something like that, which is a little bit more of a, you know, something you would find in a general interior, it doesn't look that out of place in the garage area, because it's slightly, you know, more interior like, if that makes sense, and not like a separate like Cool's garage. So also in the garage I did go ahead and put an easel and also some gym equipment in there. So what you could also do as well is take out the debug car, because it's really just there for decoration, and then go ahead and put some more activities in there. A really good thing I was thinking of was the new kind of ping pong tables from Discover University. You could go ahead and put them in there actually as well. I didn't want to use Discover University in this build, as I was saying, I was trying to keep in mind how many packs I was using. So that is another idea. If you have that pack, if you want to go ahead and put some more activities in the build. And this build in general only took me about 40 minutes to do in total, which is no time at all. I know it's not the most kind of complicated build, and I was saying this a little while ago with one of my recent Real to Sims builds, is that I was trying to kind of go a little bit more out of my comfort zone in terms of what floor plans and stuff I'm choosing. But it was that when I did the more like, you know, 2-story ones and more complex ones, it made it quite difficult to actually recreate those kind of bigger homes in The Sims without having to make as many changes to make it fit The Sims, because, you know, sometimes with real life photos that you come to recreate, you may find that some areas of it may not be that possible to do in The Sims 4. So that kind of thing plays in a little bit more when it comes to doing bigger homes and 2-story homes and stuff. So this is kind of of 2 stories, but not really at the same time because it's a very limited space up here. But I think it's kind of, you know, nice as well, just having a little room up here by itself. So like I said, this is the kids' room here. So you can kind of see what I meant. If I was going to go ahead and put some rooms within the roof area, it would not only would it not have windows, but it would also be a little bit difficult to actually see in terms of how the camera works with that. So you have to do full cutaway walls if you want to go ahead and, well, walls down view I think it's called, to go ahead and actually see that properly. So if you want to add that space in, then feel free to go ahead and do that. But I always say if you want to expand on a house, I always find it's much easier to do it by adding in a basement instead of building up like another floor, because you don't have to worry about the floor plan as much or the window placement or anything like that. So if you need a bit of extra space, I always think that going down into a basement is much better than building up. So that's just a tip there if you want to expand on this house. Also, another thing I forgot to mention earlier in the build, but I do actually have another 10 builds now available on the console library. So if you play on Xbox or if you play on PS4, then I do have 10 more builds over there, so you can go ahead and check that out. It was in the most recent update the other day, so go ahead and check those out. I do think I have now just over 30 builds, maybe a little bit more actually, in the console library, which is really exciting. So if you want to see some of my builds over there, then feel free to go ahead and check those out. I know in the last kind of set of builds I put over there, I think I did mostly mansions, so I know some people were wanting to see some other size builds, so there's quite a mix of things over in this new port over of builds, so go ahead and check those out. Anyway, thanks for watching, make sure to leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!